So today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about, you know, the reality is of where we live. We live in a very uncertain place, uncertain world. We've been talking about this for the last few weeks now. And what does it mean for us, in our life when we feel with anxiety and fear of the unknown constantly? That's how we live every day. You know, I feel uncertain sometimes, I guess a lot of time actually. And I feel uncertain about what's coming next, especially coming up in November. If you know, November is getting close to that time of the election. Are you fearful of what's going to happen? Are you going to be fearful of who's going to be president? I know a lot of people are talking about it. Is it going to be stable? Is my job still going to be stable after the government change or the government stay the same? Is the economy is going to go right? Is my business going to work out? So there are so many questions that you might be having every single day, right? You're talking about this. You don't know what the future is going to hold. There is always something uncertain about tomorrow. And the last few weeks, we spoke about, fear, anxiety, where it comes from. The root of our fear and anxiety, really comes from not knowing what will happen in the future. That's the reality of it. And how we dealt with uncertainty is usually based on the habit I've learned or you have learned from your past experience, your past environment, maybe your parents, your friends, how you saw them deal with it, how you develop your own way to cope with those things. And it all creates this process of feeling how you run away from the fear, how you cope with anxiety. And of course, this feeling is not going to go away. And sometimes it leads us to making poor decisions because you live in fear, worry, anxiety, frustration. So I remember 8 years ago, during the last presidential election, there was a sense of uncertainty for me and my family. During the last few elections, I think, 8 years ago, so two elections previously, a lot of craziness happened. I'm sure you guys remember a lot of craziness. There's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of things going on. So I remember sitting at home with my wife and kids in our living room, 7 p.m. Wednesday. It was near the fall, around the same time. The sun was setting a little bit early and it was dark outside. And around this time, the election was starting. We were watching on TV, the live debates. We were watching the TV, CNBC talking about what state's going to turn this color, that color, and who's going to be the next president of the United States. The truth is, I was not experiencing politics during that time. I was so focused on business that I pretty much just ignore everything else. And in the past, I didn't pay attention. Who here pays attention to politics? It gets frustrating. It's tiring, right? You get tired every time you hear about who's going to be the next president. Is it going to be Trump? Is it going to be Biden? And so having conversation in your family is kind of stressful. Some family broke apart because of it. That's the crazy thing. Like people get into arguments and fight, and I'm like, man, does it really matter? Like, they look at the policy, man. Don't look at the people. That's the truth. Okay, vote based on policy, not the person, because at the end of the day, it's the policy that makes changes in the world, especially in the U.S. It's the policy that makes changes in the U.S., not the person. But for me, I do understand that it is a privilege to have the chance to vote. And we all should be happy that we have a chance to vote. Because we live in the US. I'm blessed to be a US citizen. I came here as an immigrant. So I've been given the right. And thank God that I've been able to have this right to be able to vote in the US. So anyone who's able to vote here today, if you guys are able to vote, man, go out there and do it. So as I'm watching this debate, I find myself taking sides. Like we all take sides, right? It's like a basketball game. You pick side, like one's for the Lakers, one's for the Golden State, whatever. So you're picking sides. We're always picking sides of who we like. And it's crazy. So who here likes to pick side? I know some of you guys pick sides. And sometimes you do it unintentionally because you're like, hey, I like that person, I like this person. I like that team, I like that team. So you resonate with them. So you pick based on your preferences. I don't want to get political, but we tend to do this as human. And we root for those people, that team, because we like them. And we fail to focus on the bigger picture. I don't want to go deep into this because, we don't want to get into a political argument on a regular Monday Mindset Zoom call. But I want to share with you that, when your emotion shows up and you don't control them, things happen. You make decisions, sometimes decisions out of emotion. And so I'm starting to do research, right? So during this time, I'm doing research. I'm Googling, I'm looking at articles, I'm listening to people, watching more news, CNN, CNBC, Fox News. I'm just watching everything. Now, next thing you know, I get fearful because the future is uncertain. I don't know what's going to happen to the market. I don't know what's going to happen to my business. I don't know what's going to happen to the policies. I don't know what's going to happen to my taxes. So in the moment of peak uncertainty, whoever made a decision, an emotional decision in the past that didn't turn out very well. No lie. I know we all had made a bad decision in the past when we were emotional. So I opened up my Robinhood account. Everything looked green. Who doesn't like green, right? So I'm looking at the six-figure portfolio that I've built up over the years, and it's looking back at me. Next thing you know, I press the sell button, liquidated everything, with the fear that the new presidential transition will cause a crash in the market. I don't know where that came from, but apparently in my mind, that was going to happen. And guess what? Nothing happened. Well, the market went the other way, actually. It went up. So after the election, the market exploded. I made a little bit of profit, but unbeknownst to me, I could have made more profit. So it swung the opposite. So I missed the opportunity to grow my investment even more. So there was an opportunity lost there. And this also happened during COVID as well. Who knew a virus didn't destroy America? It was a pandemic, right? We thought we were all going to be gone, but we're still here. It kept going. The economy kept going. America kept going. We kept going, and now we're here today. So I met guys who made millions in the market during COVID. They bought energy stocks. They made investment when things were down. They kept buying because they kept betting that the US market is going to come back. They kept their emotion of fear and uncertainty at bay during those hard times, uncertain times, and it paid off. So why am I sharing this with you? What do you do? What do you do when things are out of your control? Who want to have more control in their life? I know I do. I know some of you guys do too. And this is the only way for you to be less anxious and fearful because you must get back into control. But of what, you might be wondering. So the two things you and I have control in our life are what you can control and what you can't control. That's the two things we have in our life. And the only thing you can control is you. That's the only thing you can control. The purpose of today is to help you find the I can control areas of your life that brings you certainty. There are things in your life right now that you want to control, but you can't. But you focus on so much on things you can't, you lose sight of the things you can. So what do I mean by that? Where's your attention? Where does it go? And where your attention goes is where your focus is going to be. Uncertainty takes you into the future. Certainty takes you into the present. I know some of you have uncertainty right now in your life. There's no control over the world, other people, presidential change, the economy, the school system, the suppliers, the customer response. If you run a business, you have customers, you can't control them. You try to control them, but you can't. Trust me. Amazon warehouse workers, you can't control them either because they check it in your package and hey, the guy might not be feeling good. He might not check your package in. Your spouse, your boss, your retirement, your kid's future, you can't control that either. You can teach them all you want, but next thing you know, they're not doing what they're supposed to do. Your parents' health, your own well-being, wars, illnesses, the unpaid bills. Whoa, right? Let's take a deep breath and let's just focus on being safe right now. You're safe right now. Sometimes you just got to close your eyes and tell yourself, I am safe right now. The truth is, we are all safe in the moment right now. But you got to be certain that you are safe. Now, if you live in a place of war, I know some people, you wouldn't be here right now. You're on this call. If you live in a place of conflict, of war, like in Israel, in North Korea, yeah, you wouldn't be here. So the truth is you are safe right now, but you have to remind yourself that. The things you can control, the things I can control, how I feel, the focus of my attention, the effort I put in, my mindset, the things you can control, your health, your relationship, your progress, your plan. And of course, not planning is planning to fail. So make sure you are planning. Your feed, and what I mean by your feed is what you put into your mind, like the Facebook feed, right? Instagram feed. What you choose to pay attention to, what you choose to watch, what you choose to put inside your mind will determine how you will feel. Either you feel certain, either you feel confident, or you're going to feel worried and anxious. Why is having control over your mind so important? When you have the certainty, you will have stability of the mind. From there, you will have the energy to focus on taking action instead of wasting energy on the what if, right? Hey, who here hates wasting energy on like what if? What if this happened? What if that happens? Like my mom is the worst at this. It's like, what if you get sick? What if your business don't work out? And I've been hearing this when I wasn't doing business. Trust me, I was broke and my mom was worried about this. What if you don't get a job? What if you hurt yourself? And the truth is, like, worrying about the what if takes a lot of that mental energy away from what is important. So your brain, remember, has a limited amount of energy every single day for you to use. So do not waste your mental energy on stressing about things that are about the future that are not certain, that you cannot 100% guarantee that will happen. And you know what? It will build up and cause you to be anxious, frustrated, worried, scared, and fearful. And you're just draining all this mental energy that you could direct into something that's purposeful. And what's important is making progress. What's important is aiming to be better than yesterday. So let's talk about things we can control every single day. Here are some tools that I recommend, that I use for me to stay in control of my day. So there's this legendary billionaire investor, Ray Dalio. He mentioned that this one thing helped him get an edge and was able to help him create the most successful track record at his hedge fund, Bridgewater Associate. It was meditation. Cliche, but that's what he did. He used meditation, transcendental meditation. I don't want to go into that part of meditation. Let's just focus on regular meditation because there's different areas, but let's just focus on regular meditation, sitting there, pay attention to your breath, and try to be still. And studies have shown that meditation can help reduce stress and create calmness, and it will rewire your brain to be more focused. So the optimal time is around 17 minutes, but work your way up from 5. Work your way up from 5 to 10 to 15 to 17. Spare that 10 minutes a day so that you can prioritize your mental health, your mental focus. Now, meditation also rewires your brain to help you be more focused, to be more present. And that's why it's so important, because you allow yourself to pull back away from the what if, the uncertainty, the worries. Now you're focusing back on the moment. What can I do in this moment? There's a lot of things we can do every day. A lot of people choose to focus on the future and they don't take any action, or they hold on to the past. They keep looking into the past. So spend time practicing that meditation process. Every day, 10 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day. Get used to it and then increase your meditation up to 17 minutes. So number 2, physical movement. We talk about this all the time. Engage in working out or gentle exercise like stretching, yoga, short walks. Physical movement help release the tension. I remember, man, like when I was working out, or when I was working all the time, I didn't get a chance to work out. I was sitting in my office, like literally here. I was just sitting here working because I was so focused. I was like, I got to get this done. I got to get this done. I got to hit my goals. I got to get this done. And next thing you know, I feel all this tension up in my traps, my shoulders. And man, I felt so tired. Next thing you know, like my head, I started getting a migraine. And that's because all that tension traveled up into my head. And I just felt so worn and heavy. And I was like, why am I so tired? Why am I so anxious? Why am I so nervous? And it was because my body was worn out. My head was worn out. And I didn't move my body. I didn't stretch. I didn't roll all that frustration out, all that tightness. Because I'm like this, right? You ever seen somebody just work like that? It gets stressful. Over time, it gets stressful. So move your body. Physical movement is going to help release the tension, and it helps release that anxiety out of your body because you store all that stress in your body as well. So number three, limit sensory overload. What I mean by that is when you're overwhelmed, when you're stressed, when you feel anxious, get away from a lot of noise. You got 3 kids running around, get away from that. Like if you guys got kids, get away from that. Take 30 minutes, go sit in your car, listen to some chill music, turn off your phone, get rid of all the notifications, spend 15 to 20 minutes away from all the noise, all the distraction. Get some peace and quiet so that you can collect yourself. That's why these things are so important. Don't just sit in this like intense environment. Because when you sit in this intense environment, guess what happened? You can't process anything. And so now you just want to get away. And that's all you think about. Now you get overwhelmed and anxious. So that's what's in your control right now. Limit the sensory overload. And for me, my quiet time is around 5 a.m. I get a lot of quiet time at 5 a.m. And then when I need more quiet time, I just go sit in the car, go for a walk. That's quiet time. That's limit sensory overload. Like the other day, I was working. And next thing you know, I hear motorcycle just going back and forth in my drive, like around the street, and I can hear it, and it just started bothering me. I really wanted to go out and yell at them, but it was this kid buying a new bike. I don't know why, but he's buying a bike. He's young, and I was gonna tell him like, hey, you can kill yourself. But anyway, that the point is like loud noises, distractive noises will create anxiety. Number four, this is very important to me. Use positive affirmation. Use your voice. Repeat affirmations that resonate with you. I am in control of my thoughts. I am safe and at peace. I am going to do well. I'm going to be fine. Things will work out. Think of things that you can repeat to yourself on automate. And positive affirmation does work because you cannot beat your mind. Trust me, you sit in your mind and talk to yourself. Have you ever tried to talk to yourself in your mind? Like the mind goes to some crazy places. Sometimes some people have really dark thoughts. That's where it all comes from. And so, and you try to win against that, you cannot. Trust me, you cannot win against your mind. So what I suggest is that you got to speak out against the thoughts. So speak out against the thoughts. Have strong affirmation that you repeat to yourself. I am safe. I'm in control. Things will work out no matter what. Say those things. That's what I say. Things will work out no matter what. Things will always work out. And this helps you stay in control of where you are. When you feel like there's uncertainty in your life, when there's uncertain times that happens, you can always remind yourself things will always work out. That's what helps me. And repeating this rewires your mindset because you're shutting down the negative thoughts, the doubts, the fear, the worries, the anxiety, all that comes from the mind because the mind creates all of those things. And that's the number one thing you got to take care of. That's the number one thing you got to shut down, actually. Number five, I use this process. So I use the 3-second rule, but you can make it longer than this, but it's process time. So spend time. It's a tool. Save a specific time in a day where you spend 10 minutes to process your struggles, your worries, your challenges, your anxieties, your thoughts, things that comes up. Like set a timer for 10 minutes and then sit and feel it. You will always feel this. You can never escape it. You can never get rid of fear. You can never get rid of frustration. You will never be able to get rid of anxiety. You can only ride through them. You can never get rid of worries because it's a part of life. Experience it and then ride through it and process it. So set a timer, set a specific time in a day. If you know you get anxious, set a specific time for it. Like, hey, this is the time where I'm going to just spend 10 minutes to process this emotion, this feeling that I got. Make it into a habit because you're preparing yourself. When worse things will come, challenges will come, you're able to get through it because you have these tools in place. Now, the last thing for me, prayers. Prayers always works for me, praying to God, give me strength, give me wisdom. God, lend me your power, whatever it may be. I always pray. Every time I struggle with something, I always pray. And it helps me get through a lot of struggles, a lot of things that I'm facing every single day. A lot of battles that I face every single day, a lot of challenges that comes up. And you know what? You grow from these challenges. So there'll always be a better future if you focus on God, you praise God, you worship God, and you pray. It'll get you through things. Trust me, it'll get you through. So that's what works with me, because I pray. But pray whoever God you want. I mean, if you guys don't, you guys are not a Christian, that's fine too. Just find a God and pray. It works. And the purpose of all these things is for you to connect back into the moment and not focus on your past or your future. This is what you and I have control over today, right now. This is what we have control over, which is today. We can control how we think, how we feel, and what we put into our minds. Remember that. That's all we got. Doesn't matter what the future is. You got goals. Yes, I have goals too. But right now is what I need to do is take action today. And how do I do that? I have to control my mind. So I heard this story recently. So we're almost done. I heard this story recently and it was very interesting. So there's this new cook that was learning how to use a knife. And the head chef was watching over him, reminding him, the knife is very sharp. I see the cook respond, I see. He starts to cut some carrots as he cutting carrots. And again, the head chef reminded this young cook, the knife is very, very sharp. The young cook looked at him and nodded and continued chopping. The third time, the head chef reminded him, that is a very sharp knife. And the young cook looked at him with a confused face. Suddenly, he sliced his finger. The head chef stopped, looked at him in the eyes. There was silence. Then he said these very powerful words. The knife is very, very sharp. So, do you dull the knife or develop steadier hands? This is what's happening to your mind every day. Our mind is built on shaky foundation, and every time something happens, or when we get hurt, anger, frustration, anxiety, worries, pain, fear, we tend to dull our mind by drinking, drugs, TV, gambling, porn, binging Netflix, social media, scrolling, and so many other things. Right? Instead of dulling your mind, focus on making it sharp. Using tools that are out there to help you get through it, process it, instead of finding ways to dull the knife. Because the truth is, when you're building your life on shaky ground, it's never going to make progress. Why? Because it's going to fall. You're going to fall. You need to create a strong mind, a strong foundation, so that you can go after your dreams. Not just for you, but for all the people you care about. So I just want to leave you with this. Focus on training your mind to prepare you for challenges. Train your body for battle. Train your spirit for peace. All the training will help you build an unshakable foundation so that you can go through life with more peace, more confidence to take action towards your goals. That's all I want to share with you guys today.